So this video, I'm going to go out on a limb a little bit, and right from the start, I'm going to let everyone know this is my opinion. This is a point of view that I have. It's a thought that I have. It's an opinion. I'm really creating a baseline for discussion. I know that some people will agree with things that I say, some people will not. Some people might completely agree with what I say. So I think, if we just start off by me saying this is an opinion piece, it is just my opinion. And I'm going to try and speak freely. I'm very wary of censorship at the moment because I've had one of my videos taken down, and I've got a feeling that I have to be careful. I mean, I know, the thing that I dislike a lot is I'm not even sure what I've done wrong. Anyway, so as you've probably worked out from the title of the video, Big Government is the title, and what is big government? Now, I'm going to assert that big government is describing what we are all seeing in the business world, in the technology world, in the internet world. So today we have big tech, we have big pharma, we have big military, we have big industries, we have big healthcare, and you can probably stick big onto the front of a lot of nouns actually to do with the world that we live in. Big opinions, maybe that's me. Maybe I should call this channel, The Big Opinion, Luxmaster, The Big Opinion. I don't know, but the reason that I wanted to talk about big government is because it's a description that lends itself towards some of the other videos I've made, some of the other topics. The free market to policy economics in particular, and also I've made a video on what is a new world order. And I've made some other videos. I possibly haven't uploaded those videos because I'm still working through, what the red lines are, what I can and can't say on YouTube. So in this video, I'm going to try and keep it a parental guidance, and try and keep it user friendly. Gosh, I'm just talking about my opinions. I don't know why. They have to be, why I have to feel like I'm being censored. It's ridiculous, really. But anyway, big government. And really, it's a notion that's come about because we could take a view, the man in the street could take a view that the world is shrinking a little bit, where we all seem to be converging. If I use the example of Meta, aka Facebook, and I think in another one of my videos I said that I was going to start calling Facebook Meta, only because Facebook, that word, it's because it just conjures up loads of negativity, and so even I'm sick of that word actually, and so Meta sounds like a fresh start. And I wish Mark Zuckerberg all the best, and I quite like the idea of what he's doing with Meta. If you've seen a film called Ready Player One, that's what he's building, and I think that's interesting. And in my work experience, I've had many conversations. I'm going to go whiz around actually, just whilst I'm talking here, just in case you were feeling okay. This might make you dizzy. But if you've seen Ready Player One, that is a film based on some ideas, based on an idea that you can create this metaverse, and that is what Meta and Mark Zuckerberg is trying to build. But anyway, in the context of big government in this big world, so you think about Google. I mean, my goodness, big search engine. That is a beast of a machine. And on the face of it, Google's fantastic. I mean, what a piece of engineering, if you think about it. It is amazing. And again, think that it started literally in a garage. That is amazing. But think about Big Pharma. I mean, recently in this current world we live in this environment, Big Pharma really conjures up, 1 or 2, 3 sources of health products, and everyone seems to be, subject to those companies right now. I do find that interesting. Now, I said the word big military. And this is where we can go off piste a little bit, and we can say things that perhaps aren't helpful. But on planet Earth, countries do build and they do have military capabilities. And this is because human beings, we just can't get on with each other. For some reason, a person, a group of people, a community, a nation, throughout history have decided that they're going to take something from somebody else. They've had to create an army, and they've used that army to basically take what they want. And, considering today we are so clever and intelligent, we're literally about to put a bunch of people in an aluminium tube and, strike a match underneath it and send it off to Mars. Mankind is about to do that, but yet we have things like rail guns and laser GPS weapon systems, and just because we might fall out with each other, and we have nuclear weapons, once again, all that science and technology, there is a very big positive. We've created nuclear power, which is great, and I've mentioned that in another video. But so we do have military capabilities on planet Earth because we can't trust each other. I mean, just to take one view, it is ridiculous if you think about it, that mankind has got to where it is today. We are so good at what we do, and we have such a pleasant side, and we've done so many great things, but yet we still have to put all this effort and resource into weapons, so that just in case we have to use them against another man in a different country, and it will be because we want something or we are defending something that we have. It's a real shame that this is a factor. It is a thing in our world, in our lives, that is there, and it costs us. It costs each and every one of us. We pay tax one way or another, and these machines and military capabilities are built. So we have big military. So we have big pharma, we have big tech, we have big military, and we have a big ocean. Although that's something else. So if I just take those things and how I link that to big government, somebody would initially say, hold on a second. There are still many countries that are very independent from each other. They are sovereign, they have their own governments, and they're not big in the context or via a meaning that I'm suggesting here. I suppose it depends how you want to view it. I suppose you could take big government to mean a government that controls many countries. And there we have the European Union. There's my case point right there. So that could be considered a big government, the European Union. There are, is it 27 countries now in the European Union? Were there 28 when the UK was a member? I think it's 27. Gosh, I might have got that wrong. Anyway, so my phrase, big government, definitely applies to the European Union. There's a perfect case point there. You could say that there is a big government in the United States because all the states combined, there is a government that has influence and control over all states. So I suppose we could say there's a big government there. China's a large country. India is a large country. They have single government. So Loosely, you could say, the notion of big government does exist. And I suppose my best example is the European Union. So, but look at it this way. I've mentioned weapons, and we human beings put so much effort into creating these things, and it's only because we might fall out and we might want to take something from somebody else or defend ourselves. But just say for a moment that human beings were, we were overtaken by aliens and we were told to behave ourselves, or the human race on planet Earth simply decided to be nice to each other, and and any disputes or falling out would be resolved via the proper discussion format, in a world government somewhere. Or, we could all just agree that we would never fight each other again, and we just didn't need these weapon systems. And, but let's just, I know that sounds ridiculous, but on the face of it, it's not such a ridiculous thing to actually say, and to raise the question: why can't man, be trusted to be nice to each other? Why can't we all be, nice to each other? Why is it that we have to defend ourselves? We have to have a military and defend ourselves as a country. So it does it does give a little bit of rise to the notion: if we had a big government. And so I'm going to assert that we have big governments, and these significant governments around the world. I mean, we have the G7, and we have other forums where the largest governments of the world all get together and they chat about things that are in everyone's interest. For example, COP26, the climate change event that's just taken place. But imagine if all the governments around the world got together to once again talk about a peace treaty. One business case for that would be that the cost that is allocated to its military, could be discounted, because everyone would have agreed not to use their military and weapon systems against each other. So on the face of it, that sounds, plausible, doesn't it? Let's all agree to be friends and not fight each other. Just think about that. On the face of it, why isn't that possible? And I suppose, we do have these initiatives, these conversations do take place. But I suppose, I'm wanting to close closer to my point now. But to get to that point, if human beings and governments around the world thought that it was a good idea to all get together to talk about the possibility of not needing our militaries, I suppose you would need a big government, or a bigger government, or a world government that has a scope of authority, or a scope of deliverables, or a scope of responsibility to do with how all the countries on planet Earth all function, work together, and how they all operate together in a functional way. Defense and militaries would be something that you'd have to get over very quickly, because whilst people have a military, it's a bit scary, and if one country has a military, another country has to have a military, so it doesn't work. So, does every country need a military? That is an issue that would have to, be spoken about. But just think about it again. If we had a world government that had everyone's interest at heart, and there was a mechanism, a way that everyone could agree, and we could create some improvements for everyone, taking into account issues like climate change, energy needs, employment, education, all leading towards an understanding, a commitment towards how we should be living on Earth. What should our options be? Should we all be fair and equal? Can human beings govern planet Earth as one thing? Can we all get together and decide, yes, we human beings should be able to live happily all together on planet Earth without falling out? And again, I'm thinking of COP26, the climate change commitment. that I suppose is an illustration of big government or big governments all getting together, all focused on a very important issue that needs to be discussed, and some policies need to be put in place. So there's my evidence, really. We have peace talks. We already have worldwide forums to discuss these very important issues, and and taking and just having license to go off piste a little bit, exploring. Would a one world government actually be a thing that could work on Earth, and how would it work? How would it represent every country, every person, on planet Earth? And so, you can see in this video I'm touching on some great big issues, and in about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I can't put too much. I don't think I'm doing it justice. I'm really. This is a bit of a random video. I'm just throwing out there some references, a framework of reference in which I can, just quickly chat about this, introduce some vocabulary, big government, big governments, world peace, a worldwide commitment to each other that puts each of us at the forefront of our hearts and minds and being. What I'm saying is, human beings in theory could all get together and agree on how to live peacefully all together. There you go. That's a point I'm making. The other point is I am introducing the notion that having a one world government is plausible if you think about it. But understanding what that one world government, or what that big government of big governments might be, understanding the scope of it, what its authority would be, how it would function, and how it would really work on planet Earth, all that is to be discussed. And it's that stuff that I will come back to in another video. And so this video is like the initial start to a discussion about big government, big governments. And I suppose I will link it once again to, what is a new world order, what are new world orders. And, climate change is an aspect of it. But this is really, are we heading towards a world government, a world government of big governments? Is that happening anyway? Should it happen? Should people on Earth want it to happen? What would it look like, and can it work? And I think the hot button topics like military capabilities, defense, energy, access to natural resources, all this would be stuff that would have to be thought about and discussed. This would be the job of the one world government. I do find it very interesting. And at that, I'm going to leave it right there. I hope I've done this subject, this very brief introduction to this subject, justice. I hope I've got my point across. And I will say ciao for now, and we shall come back to this. And I hope everyone has a good day.